time for us to take a look now at what's hitting the international papers. Diptyque Laurent is back with us in studio. Diptyque, let's start with the Golden Globes, which, were quite different this year.
That's right. A lot of reactions, Eve, to that Golden Globes ceremony. This is, of course, the first ceremony post Harvey Weinstein, post a slew of sexual assault allegations in Hollywood. And Hollywood wanted the world to know that this was not just another red carpet or award ceremony. This was the moment that the industry stood up to sexual harassment and took a stand and said no more. It began, of course, with that decision to wear black as sort of a protest color, but also the choice of some actresses like Susan Sarandon and Michelle Williams to bring women's rights activists like Tarana Burke and Rosa Clement as their plus ones. A very positive initiatives there from those actresses. What's interesting, though, is if you're looking for a counterpoint of view, Sonia Saraya's article for Variety makes for interesting reading. She says, after a long build-up, the ceremony kind of went on without much fanfare, and the acceptance speeches didn't sort of bring home any of those strong messages we saw in the beginning of the ceremony. She also critiques the choice of wearing black, saying it's a color that blends in, it's a color that's quite meaningless, it's a color that doesn't make a scene, and in particular, it's a color that men would wear anyway, so it wasn't really a protest color for her. She says even if there was goodwill at the ceremony, exhortations towards equality and fairness delivered by a rich person on a podium is usually not very interesting. So quite scathing comments there.
But we can see there in Variety, in that headline, one woman mentioned, Oprah Winfrey. She gave quite a rousing speech.
She did, and I think unanimously people would agree that her speech was very powerful. The Queen of Talk Shows was given the Cecil B. DeMille Award for her contribution to entertainment. She's the first black woman to receive the award, and in her acceptance speech, she addressed things like race, but also the Time's Up movement, sending a powerful message to girls and women about becoming leaders who, quote, I'm quoting Oprah Winfrey here, take us to the time when nobody ever has to say me too again. So it was a very powerful commentary from Oprah Winfrey. Now, another person receiving props for his performance is, of course, Golden Globes host Seth Meyers. He, in his monologue, wasted no time addressing what he called the elephant not in the room. He also made some hard-hitting jokes about Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey before segueing into a segment that was widely accepted or widely widely accepted, called Jokes Seth Can't Tell. So it kind of gave him a way to tell jokes that were inappropriate without actually having to say it himself, proving very popular. The Daily Beast notes approvingly that he savaged sexual predators and rose to the occasion.
Okay, and it's not just Hollywood, of course, that's leading the charge against sexual harassment and indeed sexual inequality. A senior BBC journalist has quit over unequal pay.
That journalist is Carrie Grace. She was the China editor for the BBC and had worked at the corporation for 30 years. Well, she quit over what she calls the secretive and illegal pay culture. The veteran journalist slammed the news organization in a letter for the way it was reviewing women's pay. In her own case, she was being paid 33% less than her male colleagues, and when she brought it up, they offered her what she considered an unequal pay rise, prompting her to quit. Now, the BBC, for its part, has said, according to a recent audit, there was no systemic discrimination against women, offering no explanation really as to why women are paid less at the organisation.
Yeah, there's absolutely no good reason, as we can all adhere to. Let's move to Austria now, and the president has made a statement after a week after shocking online abuse of a newborn baby.
Well, Asel Tamga was the first baby to be born in Austria in 2018, and her name and picture appeared in local media outlets. Then it emerged that her parents are immigrants, and she and her family were subjected to vile comments online. Comments too shocking to repeat here. Well, now the Austrian president, Alexander Van der Bellen, he's been forced to intervene. He posted a comment on Facebook over the weekend welcoming the baby, as the Austrian paper Die Presse says. But it's not good enough for one Austrian left-wing journalist who accuses the president of leading a radical government that wants to tear the country apart, he says.
Very quickly from you, Diptyque, finally, new year, a new food craze.
That's right. That food is the fig. We're saying goodbye to the avocado phrase and hello to the fig. The Guardian wonders if it's because figs are, quote, slightly sexual to touch, Or is it because there's I had to quote that. There's an element
I'm thinking I've missed that one. I've been eating figs before.
But there is a question. Is there an element to jeopardy to the fig like there is with an avocado? You just never know if it's going to be ripe until you cut right into it and you see that meaty flesh. Anyway, things working in the fig's favor. It's photogenic look. It's sort of chewiness of the skin leading to this sort of jammy interior. And as you see in this article, it can be consumed breakfast, lunch and dinner. Figs, the fruit of 2018. You heard
so
it
much
here.
more to it than I ever imagined. Tika Lohom, thanks so much for that. Time for us to take a very quick break now, but we're back with more updates in just a few minutes. Stay with us if you can.